Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, members of the public, ladies and gentlemen, and staff and council. Welcome to the Monday, October 3rd Committee of Adjustment meeting. Can I have someone call the meeting to order? Moved by Deputy Mayor Jaworski and seconded by Councillor Lang. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. Approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or amendments, Ms. Haley?
No, Mr. Chair.
All right, seeing none. Can I get a mover? Moved by Deputy Mayor Jaworski and seconded by Councillor Lang. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you. All right. Sorry, I got to get through the minutes here. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Moved by Councillor McDonnell, second by Councillor Luck. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 5A 2022 Morris. Ms. Haley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm just going to read required wording under the Ontario Planning Act. This is a hearing under Section 44 of the Ontario Planning Act. Any person may attend this hearing and/or make written or verbal representation either in support of or in opposition to the proposed minor variance. If a person or public body does not make oral or written submissions at this hearing before the minor variance is decided upon, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to the Ontario Land Tribunal, also known as OLT. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a hearing or make written submissions to the Committee of Adjustment or the Township of South Glengarry before the minor variance is decided upon, the person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the OLT unless, in the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to do so. So we'll move on to our first application this evening, being A 2022. So this property is located at Lot 18 in Registered Compiled Plan 143 in the geographic township of Lancaster, now in South Glengarry, and it's addressed and located at 20364 First Street, Green Valley. The subject property is approximately 0.16 acres in area, and this is a key map showing the property in turquoise, and you can see, just to help orient yourself, this is County Road 34, right in the village of Green Valley. So the purpose of the minor variance is the owner is proposing to construct an addition to the front of their single detached dwelling. The following relief from Part 6.2 of the zoning bylaws requested. They're unable to meet the 6-meter front yard setback, so they're asking for a reduction to 4.57 meters. This is an image of what the existing dwelling looks like. You can see we basically have a rectangular single detached dwelling with a proposed addition in this location. This would be First Street, and this dotted line would represent where the 6-meter front yard setback would be if they were able to comply. It would just make the addition quite small if they chose to meet that 6-meter. So they did come to our office looking to obtain a building permit, and their designer had pointed out to them that they were unable to meet the 6-meter front yard based on the size and shape of the configuration or the addition they were looking for, and that's what resulted in this application. So we have a couple images to show. This is the front of the property. So if the addition is constructed, you'll see it'll just come out a little bit further. And this is just another view or angle of the property. It was a nice sunny day, so it kind of blocks your image here, but just means the front of the house would no longer be flat if the minor variance is approved and the addition is constructed. The property is designated urban settlement area in the county official plan, and the application does conform to the general intent of the official plan. And the property is zoned residential 1, and it does conform to the general intent of the zoning bylaw as a residential use is permitted. This is a zoning map, and you'll just see the two different colors that are on this map. The yellow represents the residential 1 zoning, so you can see it's surrounded entirely by single-family dwellings. And then the pink represents the commercial district along County Road 34 in Green Valley. The application was circulated to all abutting property owners within 60 meters. Applicable municipal staff were also circulated, and I did not receive any written or verbal comments to date, not even one phone call. None of your neighbors reached out to us, and we did circulate the application internally. We have no concerns with the application. We support it. We recommend it to be approved, And even from a roads perspective, we don't see any major concerns that it's not going to be negatively impacted with winter maintenance and things like that. So that's all I have to present, Mr. Mayor. The owners are here this evening, as you're aware, and I'm sure they could add details about their addition if there's any questions you may have. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Haley. Are there any questions or comments of the council or committee? Seeing none, did you folks want to add anything to what you're doing, or?
No, not really. I mean, the addition is only for extra space because it's so tiny in the house. That's about it.
Okay. All right, thank you. Oh, Councillor Lang?
I would make a motion that we approve this.
Okay,
I'll second the motion.
okay. Moved by Councillor Lang, second by Councillor McDonnell. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you very much.
And thank you.
Moving on to A2122. Ms.
Before you
Haley.
leave, yes, you're welcome to leave, and I will be sending out a written notice of decision tomorrow, so you'll have a copy for your files. As we discussed, it's subject to the 20-day appeal period, so the appeal period will expire on October 23rd. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oops.
All right, and we're moving on to A2122, Bel Air, Mrs. Haley.
Okay, so our next application being A2122, just so the committee's aware, the agent is online, so Mr. Brock Wilson will be listening into the presentation. So this property is located at part of Lot 9, Concession 1 Front, in the geographic township of Charlottenburg, now in South Glengarry, and it's addressed as 19406 County Road 2. The subject property is approximately 0.9 acres in size. It is a waterfront property. It's located on the south side of County Road 2, framed by the St. Lawrence River, as well as 2 canals. So it's quite a unique property in terms of its proximity to watercourses. So the application included, we need a complete application to be able to accept it and circulate it. And our application included a site plan, a topographic survey, and environmental impact study. And the reason for the environmental impact study is because the property is actually surrounded by provincially significant wetland within the watercourse. So following the completion of these studies and review by both staff and the RSCA, the owner submitted an application to propose to construct an addition to the west side of their single detached dwelling, and the following relief is being requested: to reduce the watercourse setback from 30 meters to 15 meters from the canal to the proposed residential addition, and to reduce the wetland setback from 30 meters to 15 meters to permit the development of the proposed residential addition. This is an image that was prepared by the applicant's agent. The outline represents the primary dwelling. The area in gray represents the proposed addition. I know it's kind of difficult to see from here, but this would be one canal. This would be the canal on the opposite side, and then the St. Lawrence River around here. There's other structures on the parcel of property being comprised of 2 detached garages, as well as a guest house and a boathouse. But we've simply highlighted the main dwelling and the proposed addition in this location. Here's some images that were taken for the application. So you can see this is County Road 2. The garages are quite close to the road with the dwellings in the back. The arrow here is representing where the proposed addition would be located on the west side of the subject property. And here's another couple of images as well. This is more showing the northeast property line. You can see the canal here. And then this would be an angle on the west side. So the property is designated a rural district in the county official plan, and it does conform to the general intent of the official plan. The property is zoned residential 1 and floodplain holding. And as I mentioned, it's located adjacent to a provincially significant wetland. And the proposed addition conforms to the general intent of the bylaw. I remind the committee on a regular basis that if people are proposing development within adjacent to a watercourse, we can certainly support it if it's 15 meters or greater. And in this particular case, it's 15 meters. Also, the reduction to the provincially significant wetland was supported by an environmental impact study prepared by a professional biologist that can also support that development. So the application was circulated to all abutting property owners within 60 meters. I have not received any written or verbal comments from the public. We did circulate the application to the United Counties of SD&G Transportation Department and the Raisin Region Conservation Authority. The United Counties had no comments, no concerns, which makes sense given the proximity to the proposed addition. Planning and Building support the application. We do recommend to the committee that it be approved. And I did summarize the Conservation Authority's comments. The committee does have the comments in their agenda, but the RSCA reviewed the application. They provided the following comments, being that a regulation permit is required before any site alteration or development can occur on the subject property. The RSCA does not object to the requested reduction in both the watercourse setback and the wetland setback. There were recommendations contained within the environmental impact study surrounding the proposed development and how the development can occur. One of the recommendations specifically indicated a development agreement. We don't see that come as a recommendation very often. Development agreements are not uncommon, as council would be aware. But in this particular case, if we follow through with a development agreement, what would happen is, if the committee approved the application this evening, it would be conditional upon a development agreement. We would then have to bring that development agreement to council for approval. Council would then authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the agreement with the developer. But in consultation with the Raisin Region Conservation Authority, they felt they could capture all of the components that was being recommended by the biologist before development can occur. They felt they could capture all of those requirements within their regulation permit. And so it just seemed to be more of a simplified process for the property owner if this is approved. And at the end of the day, it still serves the purposes and the goals of the professional to ensure that the development occurs accordingly within his recommendations. So that's all I have to explain this evening. As I mentioned, Mr. Wilson's online if there's any specific questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Haley. I certainly appreciate having these comments well in advance of our meeting. I think that's first in a while, especially considering how it is so close to some sensitive areas. Are there any questions or comments of the committee members? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve as presented? Moved by Councillor Lang, seconded by Councillor McDonnell. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. And moving on to the next item, which I believe is, sorry, Ms. Haley.
No, just the next meeting.
Next meeting, is there anything to be determined yet? Or?
So actually, when we developed the agenda last week, we were unsure. An application came in today. I'll be reviewing it later to see if it is ready to go. And I have another meeting tomorrow morning, potentially to receive another one. So if we have them, I'll be circulating them on Wednesday, and I'll be letting the committee know. So it's very possible there'll be one on the 17th.
Okay, great. Thank you. Motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor McDonnell, second by Councillor Luck. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. We'll see you on our council meeting in 17 minutes.